My fiancée said, "You'll have more birthdays with your mom. I'm your future." She left for her workout, came back reeking of cheap aftershave. So that night, I canceled the venue, the honeymoon, and the lease. Today, 34 missed calls, 12 texts, and one voice message. Please, don't do this. My name's Daniel. I'm 29, and I used to believe that compromise was the cost of love. That belief died the day I canceled my mother's 60th birthday dinner for a woman who came home smelling like another man. It started a week before my mom's birthday. I'd made a reservation at a little Italian place in Oak Park. Just close family, low-key. My mom's not a party person, but she made one request: dinner with me. Just me. No speeches, no surprises, just one night where I'd show up for her the way she's always shown up for me. Riley, my fiancée of 11 months, was not thrilled. She didn't say no outright. Riley rarely did. She made a sound, a tight exhale, and said, "So we're skipping couples yoga for that?" I told her, "It's my mom's 60th. I haven't seen her in 3 weeks. It's one night." She blinked. "You'll have more birthdays with your mom. I'm your future." That sentence, it didn't hit me immediately, but it settled somewhere in the back of my ribs like a cold stone. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't even upset in the traditional sense. She was disappointed. Disappointed that I didn't instinctively choose her. And the truth? I'd been choosing her for a while. I'd skipped work events, friend reunions, and, yes, family dinners for her. Not because she demanded it, because Riley expected it. And expectations can be sharper than demands when you know someone well enough to predict their reactions. I canceled the dinner. I called my mom and made up some story about project deadlines. She paused, said, "It's okay, honey. We'll do something soon." She meant it. That's the kind of woman she is. I could hear the smile in her voice, even as the silence stretched too long before she said goodbye. That night, Riley was in a great mood. She booked our cake tasting, made me laugh during dinner, even offered to rub my shoulders while we watched TV. I tried to push down the guilt, tell myself I was doing the right thing, prioritizing my future, like she said. 2 days later, something shifted. Riley was heading out for her Tuesday evening workout. She goes to this late-night bar class, part of her self-discipline routine. She has a lavender gym bag she never lets anyone touch, not for any suspicious reason. Just possessive, like it was an extension of her. That night, she left in a rush, kissing me on the cheek as she dashed out the door. I wasn't snooping. I swear. I was doing laundry. The hamper was full, so I grabbed everything from our bedroom and living room. Her gym bag was half-zipped, towel peeking out. I dumped the contents out to wash her sports bra and leggings. That's when I saw it. Tucked beside the towel was a travel-sized cologne bottle. Not a brand I use. Not even a decent one. One of those gas station knockoffs labeled Steel Rain or something equally stupid. It was half-used, stuffed in next to a scrunchie and her protein bar wrapper. I froze, stared at it like it might explain itself. Now, this is the part in stories where guys go nuts. Check her texts, go full detective. I didn't. I put the bottle back where I found it, finished the laundry, and said nothing. But something in me had shifted. The next morning, Riley was back to being sweet. She made us smoothies, kissed me on the forehead, and said, "Only 6 weeks till the big day." I nodded, smiled, and said, "Yeah, can't wait." My voice didn't crack. My hands didn't shake. I felt hollow, but not broken. That Friday, she left again for her workout. She came back 2 hours later. That's when I knew for sure. She walked in the door, humming. Hair slightly damp, not sweaty, not flushed, fresh. I hugged her out of reflex. That's when the scent hit me. Not deodorant. Not perfume. Cheap aftershave. Strong. Obvious. I pulled back and asked casually, "You switched shampoo or something?" She blinked, too quick, then laughed. "Oh no. I used the peppermint body wash at the studio." "It's strong, huh?" She peeled off her leggings mid-sentence, acting casual. I nodded. "Yeah, real strong." I went to the kitchen and stared at the wedding invitations Riley had finalized earlier that week. Our names in gold script. Her Pinterest board was filled with color palettes, centerpiece mock-ups, floral runners, and an expensive venue we were splitting, though I'd paid the deposit. I was also paying for the honeymoon, and I was the one whose name was on the lease. Riley walked past me in a robe and went to shower. The scent of someone else lingered in the hallway. She sang in the shower like nothing had happened, and I stood there, barefoot on cold tiles, wondering if I'd just chosen the wrong future. That weekend, I visited my buddy Luke under the pretense of watching the Bears game. But really, I just needed to talk to someone outside of the noise inside my head. I didn't tell him everything, just enough. She came home smelling like some knockoff cologne. I said, pretending to sip my beer. Said it was peppermint body wash at the studio. Luke didn't even blink. "You believe her?" I shrugged. "I don't know. I want to." He looked at me like I'd just admitted I wanted to believe the earth was flat. We didn't talk about it again. But on the way home, I kept hearing his silence louder than his voice. That night, Riley fell asleep early again. She'd been so tired lately. Training hard, eating clean, and mysteriously unavailable after 6 p.m. most nights. A pattern I'd ignored for weeks. Maybe longer. At 1 a.m., I crept out of bed and opened her laptop. We had each other's passwords. We'd shared everything. Netflix, email, calendars. We were engaged after all. No boundaries, right? Wrong. The browser history was clean. Too clean. Either she'd been using incognito mode or deleting after every use. Still, I clicked her Google Maps timeline. Her gym is on Belmont. But her location had dropped off near Diversey and Clifton, not once, but multiple times over the past 3 weeks. Always around 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Not once near the gym. One click deeper and it showed a pattern. A 2-hour window in the same general area. Same side street. Same day each week. A man's place. A friend? A bar? I zoomed in. It was a residential building. I didn't click the address. I didn't need to. The gut-level truth was already in me. I wasn't looking for confirmation. I was waiting to be wrong. But I wasn't. The next morning, I watched her get ready for her Sunday yoga class. She tied her hair back, kissed me, and said, "Want anything while I'm out?" I looked up from the table and said, "Nah, I'm good." She left. I waited 10 minutes. Then I packed a small bag and drove to the address on Clifton. I didn't go up. I parked across the street and watched. At 6:42 p.m., Riley arrived. She didn't wear her workout clothes. No yoga mat. No gym bag. Just jeans, boots, and the coat she only wore on nicer nights. A man opened the door. Tall. Buzz cut. Looked like the kind of guy who calls everyone champ. They hugged. Not a friend hug. Her hand stayed on his chest a beat too long. He leaned in and kissed her. Not on the cheek. On the mouth. The kind of kiss that didn't care if the world saw it. They went inside. I sat in the car for a while. Not crying. Not shaking. Not even mad. I just sat there and asked myself one question. What now? And the answer came. Quiet, clear, and final. I wasn't going to blow up. I wasn't going to scream or kick down doors or send angry texts. I was going to make her regret thinking I'd never find out. Over the next 3 days, I became someone else. Someone quiet. Careful. Precise. I called our wedding venue. Spoke with the coordinator, Paula. Told her we'd be canceling. She hesitated. I said, family emergency. She asked about the non-refundable deposit. I said I understood and gave her my card to cover the cancellation fee. It wasn't about the money. It was about ending the countdown. Then I contacted the travel agency handling our honeymoon. I'd booked it under my name alone. Thailand, 2 weeks, all-inclusive. Canceled that too. Refund minus $800. Again, worth every penny. Next, the lease. We lived in a high-rise near Lakeshore, and I'd signed for the place before Riley moved in. I had the right to end the agreement as long as I gave 30 days notice. I did. I wrote a formal letter, signed it, and left a copy in our shared desk drawer. I marked it urgent. Then I cleared out everything I needed. Important documents. Laptop. The little things that mattered. I left the couch, the bed, the silverware. I wasn't taking stuff. I was taking myself. Before I left, I opened the wedding budget sheet she was obsessed with, color-coded tabs, payment schedules, even floral mock-ups. I added one final row at the bottom. Total spent by Daniel, $14,672. Total spent by Riley, $208. Then I deleted my name from the guest list, the vows tab, the rehearsal dinner plan. All that remained was a blinking cursor under the tab marked Final Notes. I typed one sentence. I was your future. You made me your past. Then I shut the laptop, left the key on the counter, and walked out. That night, Riley called me once. Just once. I let it ring out. The next morning, I woke up to 5 missed calls and a text. Hey, are you okay? Didn't see you come home. Call me. I didn't. She called again around 11 a.m. Then 2 p.m. Then again at 4:36 p.m. Followed by this text. Why isn't the venue picking up? Are we changing something? Daniel? I didn't respond. At 6:12 p.m., she wrote. What's going on? Are you mad at me? Can we just talk? I turned off my phone. When I turned it back on 2 hours later, there were 34 missed calls, 12 messages, and 1 voicemail. The last one is still in my inbox. A quiet voice, nearly unrecognizable. Please don't do this. Just tell me what's happening. Please. I made a mistake. But we can fix this. Please call me back. Please. I didn't. I went to dinner with my mom. Sat across from her at the same place I canceled a week ago. Told her I'd made time after all. She smiled like she already knew. By Monday morning, Riley had shifted into panic mode. I could see it without even opening her messages. They went from call me back to where are you living to I'm so confused right now. Please just talk to me. I didn't block her. I didn't even mute her. I wanted her to hear the echo of silence. I wanted her to realize that for once, she didn't get to steer the conversation. I was crashing with Luke, sleeping on his pull-out couch with a duffel bag by the door and my phone on airplane mode most nights. He didn't ask questions, just tossed me a key, handed me a beer, and said, "The Wi-Fi password is still what you think it is." By Wednesday, I'd opened a new checking account. No joint access. Moved my direct deposit. Transferred over what little was left from our honeymoon fund. I knew Riley had access to the old account. She wouldn't steal from it, not directly. But I didn't want to give her the chance. That kind of trust didn't live here anymore. Thursday morning, I texted the landlord to confirm he'd received the signed notice. He had. Riley hadn't responded to his email about the lease ending in 4 weeks. That was her problem now. Then came the call I'd been expecting, a block number. I answered. Riley's voice came through, fragile but sharp. "You're being cruel." I didn't speak. She filled the silence. "Can we please talk? Face to face? Not like this." "You want to talk?" I said calmly. "Fine, but not here. Meet me at the bar across from the venue. 8 p.m. She hesitated. "The venue? Are you fixing this?" I didn't reply. At 7:59 p.m., I was already seated at the bar near the window. I'd chosen a table where she'd see the venue across the street. The one we had put a deposit on 10 months ago. The one now booked for someone else's wedding. She walked in at 8:05 p.m. exactly. Her hair was still wet from a rushed shower. Makeup half done. And despite her usual love for control, she looked unprepared, like she'd just found out her flight was boarding and she hadn't packed. "Hi," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. I gave her a small nod. She ordered a water. I didn't say a word. She broke first. "I don't understand what's happening." I tilted my head toward the venue across the street. Her eyes followed. Lit up marquee, a different couple's names on the signboard. She blinked, lips parting. "I canceled it last week," I said. "The venue. The honeymoon. The lease." Her shoulders dropped, slow, like the weight of it had finally settled. "You canceled everything without telling me?" she asked. "You cheated on me without telling me," I said. "Thought we were doing silent decisions now." Her voice caught. "I didn't cheat on you. That's not what that was." I raised an eyebrow. "What was it then?" "A cologne experiment." She hesitated. "It was stupid. It was a mistake." I panicked. I leaned forward. "How long?" Her lips moved, but no sound came out. I asked again, slower this time. "How long has it been going on?" She looked down at her water. "A couple months. It wasn't serious. And I wasn't supposed to find out, right?" She didn't answer. I let the silence linger, then said, "You told me I'd have more birthdays with my mom. That you were my future." "I was angry," she said quickly. "I felt like you didn't prioritize me. I made a mistake." "You made a plan," I corrected. "Big difference." Her voice rose, desperation bleeding through. "We can fix this. We're engaged, Daniel. We've built a life." "No," I said. "I built a life. You tried it on and decided you liked someone else's cologne better." She flinched. "You're just walking away from everything? From us?" I stood up and slid a small folder across the table. Inside, the printed receipt for the canceled honeymoon. The letter ending our lease. A screenshot of her location history. She didn't even open it. She just whispered, "Is this really happening?" "Yes," I said. She reached for my hand. I let her fingertips graze mine, then pulled back. "I hope he was worth it," I said, then walked out. That night, she sent me a single message. I didn't know how to come back from it, so I just kept lying. "I never meant to lose you." I didn't reply. I didn't rage. I didn't threaten. I didn't post anything online or tell her friends. I just disappeared from our shared plans, our joint dreams, and her future. She didn't get to destroy me and still call herself the victim. The final step? I mailed her the engagement ring. No note. No explanation. Just the ring in a black box, in a padded envelope addressed to her workplace. She signed for it. The ring arrived at her office 2 days later. I knew because she texted me at 9:47 a.m. "Why would you send this here? Do you want to humiliate me?" I didn't respond. She followed up with, "Daniel, please, can we meet one last time? No yelling. No drama. Just talk." Still no answer. I'd already done my talking. Riley was the kind of person who believed that apologies erase the damage. That if you say, "I messed up," enough times, the person you hurt is required to start fresh. But not this time. That afternoon, Luke and I moved the rest of my things into a one-bedroom on the edge of Logan Square. Nothing fancy, just mine. Clean walls, old hardwood, and no shared wedding spreadsheets on the desktop. The next day, I got a call from her dad. I hadn't spoken to him since the engagement dinner. He was polite then, kind even. Asked about my job, said I had a solid head. Now, his voice was cold, direct. "Did you call off the wedding?" I told him yes. He paused. May I ask why? You can ask your daughter, I said. She'll lie at first. But if you're patient, the truth will show up smelling like aftershave. He didn't laugh, just hung up. That night, I got a voicemail from her mom. Tears in the background. Whispering, I don't know what's going on, Daniel, but Riley is not okay. Please, if there's anything you can say to her. I deleted it. I wasn't angry, just finished. Not in the dramatic way people say when they're still waiting for the next fight. I wasn't waiting for anything, but Riley was. That weekend, I saw her. Not intentionally. I was walking to grab coffee near the lake. She was standing in front of the building where we used to live, talking to the concierge. She didn't see me at first. She was dressed up, like she thought she might run into someone worth impressing. When she finally spotted me across the street, her entire face changed. She didn't smile, didn't wave, just stared like she was trying to remember a password she used to know. I kept walking. She didn't follow. 2 days later, the texts returned. You can hate me. I get that. But you don't just stop loving someone, Daniel. You don't. Then, you told me you'd never walk away. Then, you said we were forever. I typed a reply once. Deleted it. Instead, I sent her a single image. The gold foil wedding invitation, torn in half. One half in the trash. The other, blank side up, on the counter. Her response? A voicemail. Soft. Raspy. The kind of voice someone uses when they've run out of excuses. Please don't do this. That line. The same one from her last message before I shut it all down. But she was wrong about something. I hadn't done this. She had. The final blow didn't come from me. It came from the man she'd been seeing. About a week after I mailed the ring, Luke texted me a screenshot. A post from some private neighborhood group Riley and I used to follow. Her name was tagged under a comment thread titled, Cheaters Gone Wild. Apparently, the guy, her cologne-wearing gym substitute, was also engaged. His fiancée had gone through his phone while he was asleep. Found texts from Riley, photos, even a joke where she called him my cardio class. The fiancé blasted them both online. By Monday, Riley's profile had gone dark. No posts. No updates. No new engagement photos. Just silence. The wedding was over. Her affair was exposed. And the man she threw everything away for? Gone too. Riley sent one final message a few days later. This one was different. No pleading. No blame. Just quiet. I never thought you'd leave. That was the mistake. Not the cheating. Not the lying. Thinking you'd stay. I don't blame you. I wouldn't have forgiven me either. That was the only message I ever saved. Not because I needed the closure, but because for the first time in our entire relationship, she finally said something honest. I saw her one more time, months later, at a grocery store near the edge of town. She was standing in front of the frozen section, holding a basket, wearing sweats and earbuds. We made eye contact. She blinked. I gave her a nod. Just that. She didn't smile. Didn't wave. Didn't follow me this time. Just turned away and walked in the other direction. No dramatic monologues. No final arguments. No second chances. Just a clean exit. Because sometimes, the most brutal revenge is letting someone live in the life they ruined without you. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.